There we go. Well, cool. Well, welcome everyone. Glad you're here. I know it's been a couple weeks. I'm really happy to be here. We are on the road. We are putting our money where our mouth is, basically. And Jack and I are took our land business on the road. Why not? That's the whole thing. We're buying and selling land all over the country, sight unseen. So why do I need to be sitting in an air-conditioned office in Scottsdale? It doesn't, because I don't necessarily need to be there. So it's working out great. We have our current 24-foot RV with our bikes on the back and a Jeep Wrangler that we travel with. How are you there, Jack?
I'm doing great. How do I sound?
Oh, good. Yep, I gotcha. You're good.
Everything is
Talk a
10
little bit more.
times harder. Everything is 10 times harder on the road, audio video wise. But it's okay.
That's okay. It's one setup for Thursdays. We do all of our stuff on Thursdays, and that's okay. So, but Jack and I are having a ball. I'm just kind of explaining to everyone what's going on and where we are and what we're here to talk about. So we are Land Academy. If you're just joining in, this is the land investing club on Clubhouse. I started it. Gosh, it's been like a year and a half ago, I want to say. I can't remember when I started this.
Amazing.
I know. And it's kind of like you with the podcast. You're like, what are we doing? And like when you brought me the podcast almost 8 years ago, I said, what are we doing? So, and here we are after hours and hours hours into this, hours and months, hours and weeks into Clubhouse, but we have not a decade, but we have years into the podcast, which is amazing. And we're here to help you. So we are Land Academy. We've been, hi Sam. We've been buying and selling land, Steven, since the 90s, me for going on 13 years. And now we're here to help you get some deals done, help you start a land investing business like us. Whatever it is, we're here to help. So Clubhouse is another environment for you to connect with us and just ask questions about anything that's on your mind related to land investing. So, hey, is it Sam or Carl? How are you guys? Or both? Probably both. I can't hear you. But there is some weird things sometimes with iPhones. You have to like reset, I've noticed. So it's not working, even just like headset. All right, they're going to come back here in a second. And then, hello, Harry. This is awesome. We got people kind of lined up waiting to ask us questions here. So I'm just going to dive in today, Jack. So, hi,
Yeah.
Harry. Cool. I'm just promoted you. So if you can, Harry Hawkins, jump up on stage, you can feel free to ask us a question. I'm going to do it again. I'm inviting you on the stage. There you go. And then all you need to do is accept it. And then you can jump up here and ask away. There we go. All right, Harry, you should be good. Jump in. If you want to ask a question. Hi, Harry. Are you there? No? How about Sam and Carl?
Can you hear me?
Yay!
Yes.
Yep, I gotcha.
Okay. Sorry, I had to get out and go back in.
You're good. Yay! How are you guys doing? Now, where
We're
are you
doing-
guys again? I can't remember.
We just got back to the Chicago area, so we were out
Okay.
visiting Arizona. We had a wedding, and my dad lives out there, so we just got back from our little trip. So it was good because, like you said, we were able to kind of continue our land business no matter where we were. So whenever we got a call, we kind of just, took down notes and looked things up when we got back to our computer and, kind of continued our land business on the road. So it was really, really good, and we really enjoyed it.
Cool. I'm so glad. Did you guys drive or fly?
We flew
Okay.
just because we were only going to be out there for a week, and so it would have taken us too long to go out there via car.
Oh,
And we
don't
had two
I
little
know
ones.
that?
Yeah, right? I'm sure you know it.
Exactly. I can tell you exactly how long it takes and exactly how long it feels like it takes.
I can tell you which route to go, which route not to go.
Yep. Exactly. So
That's very
cool.
funny.
I'm sorry we missed you. We keep missing you guys. You're out there, we're back here, and now you're back there, and we moved on from that area.
Yeah, no
So
worries. We know how it all goes. Life is
cool.
busy. But yeah,
Totally.
everything else is going really good. We just sent in so another mailer today, and we're scoping another
Good.
area and hoping to get that in too. So that way, we'll pick back up on all of the incoming calls. We kind of took a slight break, knowing that we were going to be on vacation. We didn't want to have a mailer hit on the first day of our vacation, so we kind of pushed a couple things off a little bit.
Hmm.
So now we're jumping right back in and loading it all up for the holidays.
Isn't that nice that we can
Excellent.
do that? We can tweak it a little
Hmm.
bit if we want
Right.
to. Stuff's still going to come in because we have residual, but you're not going to get bombarded and have to be standing in the back of the room at a wedding answering the phone.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not that I've done that or anything.
I know you've done that. I've seen you
Uh
do that.
huh. That's what's so funny. I don't know about you guys, Sam, but I'm like, you know me, I'm a deal junkie. So I'll say, I know how the wedding ends. I'll be over there. In a good
Boy,
way, not like that way.
oh,
Not a marriage
it's like
ends. I said how a wedding ends.
that's exactly how I was gonna. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
This real estate's gonna get done, and we're gonna get paid. This real estate deal, but this wedding, I don't know.
So yeah. So what's going on? Any crazy deals you want to talk about or anything? Saying hi.
Um, no, we really don't have anything too much going on. Um, yeah, nothing,
Sam, you
nothing
guys have
really exciting. It's kind of getting more like basic now, which is kind of funny because we were excited about every little thing that came in, and now it's kind of like, oh, we've kind of seen this one before, and we know how this will play out. So yeah, we're looking for something
Cool.
different. Hmm.
Hey, can I ask a
that's
quick
my
question?
big
How are
question.
you guys thinking about the advanced group? Are you getting now that you've done career path and you're settled in the advanced group? Um, is are you is the month working out for you, or any tweaks that you guys can think of there?
We definitely enjoy the advanced call, just because it is a little bit smaller. There's only what 20, 30 people on there. And
Mm-hmm.
we've been getting so much benefit out of it, just hearing everybody's um, inputs and kind of where everybody's at, and the advice that's given during the calls is really great. So we're really enjoying that. Carl just walked in, so
Oh,
he's
cool,
trying to listen in and catch up to see how he could answer because I know his wheels are turning in his head.
cool. Like, Carl's gonna go. Here's what I would love. No, if we could. Oh,
No,
cool.
I like it. I like the advanced call pretty much for the obvious reasons, of just the fact that you get to hear kind of everyone's voice. Not that we don't love always hearing your guys' voice, but it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear everyone's opinions and think. There's people on there that I don't know, and Samantha really reads a lot on the Discord and everything like that. But I like to listen to other. I like to listen, so I listen to a lot more of the podcast. Samantha really digs deep into Discord. And I think that the advanced call is kind of the middle ground right between the two of them, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of input from a bunch of different perspectives, but it's not, you know, um, you know, written, I guess. Like I just don't sit there and read things. I'll be honest with you. I listen to things, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like it because we get to communicate in an open forum, and that's what the best part is. It for me at least. Just the topic's fluid. It's just always moving. We're talking about one thing, and then we're talking about another thing. It reminds me a lot of career path office hours, which I'm sure that's why you guys designed it as such. And that was one of the best draws for career path for me was the office hours because I felt like they were just tiny little nuances. You could ask a little question that so small and could be answered so quickly, but we could answer that question and continue to build on it, which is cool.
That's good. I'm the exact same way.
I love it. And it's always good getting, especially we're all spread out. It's so nice having, like the weekly member call. People in different regions know areas, so much better, obviously. I love when people weigh in and go, I know exactly that area. That area is hot. You should buy that, kind of thing. Like, this is great. I wouldn't know that. I thought I knew. Or some little nugget like that, especially the advanced group, because where we are, there's none of the little questions. We're all so past that. And I'm loving too, even since we started the advanced call, it's been a while now, it's evolved into this environment, like you said, like the office hours, that I too really love. I love that there's no real agenda. It's just wherever it goes. And whatever is really hot, and you get 6 ideas. So it's great. Thank you so much, you guys. It's going to be weird not having you, and our next group is getting ready to start on Wednesday, I think it is. So,
Oh wow,
yeah, it'll be cool.
that's cool. Is the new career path full now?
Not
Still open?
100%. I still can squeak a few in. So if anybody's in this room and you want to get into career path, hit up Brooklyn, who's here on this call. You could even put a note in the chat. I'll call you, or just send a note to support at Land Academy, and she'll
For anyone in the
connect with
group,
you.
though, if I could say something about Career Path, so we joined Career Path without even
Please.
being members of Land Academy initially. We joined Career Path and joined Land Academy at the same time. And I know because what I hear from people when I tell people they need to join Career Path, they say, well, I want to get my feet wet a little bit. And then they want to start, and that's not, like I think you said this a million times, Jill, but like you pick everyone up where they're at. And you don't necessarily need to being Land Academy for a year or even have a mailer. We didn't do our first mailer. We did our first mailer live during Career Path and Jack reviewed our first mailer and said, hey, I like this, I don't like this. And that was such a benefit for us. And I don't feel slighted at all that I wasn't in Land Academy for X amount of time prior to joining Career Path. We were pushed into it by a friend who had been in the Land Academy and thought that we'd do well with it. And, we did our due diligence on the class and, just what we could find out and talk to a couple people here and there. And we just decided to go for it. And honestly, if you're on the fence about it because you don't, you want to learn more, you're going to learn everything you need to learn. You're going to form good habits to start your business.
Good. Excellent. I'm glad it worked.
Thank you so much. I love that. That's a good way of thinking about it. I don't have to undo anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's well, and the nice thing is you guys obviously fit the mold, because you've been doing deals, and so there was a lot of things that you already knew. I didn't have to explain, going into it. So you were special, and that was awesome. So super, super cool. Thank you very much. Hey, Harry, how are you? Do you have a question you want to run by us?
Jill, can you hear me okay?
I got you. Yes.
Okay, good.
You are good. I'm trying to see if I can get Harry to. You should be able to speak, Harry. Maybe you have to reset a little bit, come back out, come back in.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've got you.
All right.
Yay,
Heard
thank
you
you.
all. Hey, yeah,
Good.
just in between projects, but yeah, I do actually have a question. I didn't mean to jump on stage, but I only have been able to get one mailer out this year just due to my busy day job, and is actually my first mailer, and actually received 2 offers back, and that was earlier in summer. And my plan was to hopefully in the next week to 2 reach back out to those landowners and just see if they're still interested. Um, so, what's your thoughts on that with the time lapse?
I love it.
I have no trouble. I'd pick up the phone and just say, I didn't mean to drop the ball.
Yeah.
Can I still buy this?
Okay.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
And just pick
Yeah.
up where you left off, and maybe even be, because it was a signed purchase agreement that you got back then?
Yes. Yep. I have to back out of that one mailer.
Cool. And you've already done your due diligence, so you know that you love them.
Yes, and the only thing I do need to check, I need to go back in and just check some pricing since it's been a few months to see what things are selling for. But I think here in Tennessee, I think things are still pretty strong on the sell side. So I just need to check that before I call them back.
That's what I would do instead of calling them back and getting them all excited. Because they might
Yeah.
think, oh man, shucks, I was really hoping to sell it. So make sure you're into it. And then I would even go a step further and make sure you have a good title agent kind of lined
Yeah.
up, ready to go. And you even ask them, hey, how long is it going to take to get something like this done? And they
Hmm.
say, oh, I could do it in 3 weeks. Say, great, thank you, I'll call you tomorrow. Then you can
Yeah.
call them and say, not only am I ready to go, I've got all my homework done. Um, I think this is still great. Does it still work for you? Great. It works for me. Awesome. I'm calling Susie at ABC Title right now.
Yeah.
The minute I hang up the phone, and let me make sure I have everything right here. And we're going to get this done. And then they're
All
going to
right.
be like, oh, yay, excited. I'm going to get $12,000 in 3
Yeah.
weeks, whatever it
Exactly.
is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'd
Good.
take
Well,
it a step. I would take it a step further and resend out the whole mailer.
really.
Yeah, because you've done all the work,
Yeah.
and everybody understands getting interrupted. So yeah, I would just send it
Okay.
out. Same prices, same everything after you speak with those two people.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Make
great
sure you
advice.
take them out of there.
Super, super.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for the advice. And like I say, my day job is very busy. I'm thankful for that, but I really want to get into, you know, to the Land Academy and hopefully full time in a few years. So
Good.
I'm
Awesome.
working towards that. So thank you all so much.
Good. You
Absolutely.
are welcome.
All right.
We're right here with you in Tennessee, Harry.
How are you? What part?
We're just outside of Nashville.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
if you guys would venture down to Jasper, Tennessee, Jasper Highlands, top of the rock, I'll buy you lunch.
Oh, thank you
I'll
very
take a look at our
much.
schedule. That's great. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
can see one of our two developments. We've got about 4,000 lots underway. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, two large developments. But yeah, just shoot me a message or something, and if you make it towards Chattanooga, let me know.
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate
All
that.
right,
Cool.
all
Take
right.
care.
Take care. Thank you all.
Thanks. Hey, Mark, how
Super.
are you?
Hey guys, sorry,
Yes.
I'm not sure how I accidentally put myself up here. I'm just listening today. Everybody have a
Oh,
nice day. Sorry. Bye.
oh, you're all good.
Okay. It's super
Oh.
clear to me, Jill, why
Mhm.
Tennessee and Kentucky are so um, why they can support a 4,000. I think you said 4,000 units. A housing scenario can support 4,000 new houses.
Mhm.
It's beautiful here.
Mhm.
The weather's amazing. It's sunny and whatever 70, 80 degrees here. So
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah. Mhm. So, if you're playing with your audio, you do sound a little tinny on my end.
Who me?
Jack, huh? Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tinny?
right? Tinny. There you go. I think it's a little bit better. You know what's so funny? I didn't even this this is how we think. Jessica's right. She put a note in here. Tennessee's great for doing what we do. I'm like, I have bought and sold quite a bit of land around this area, and the thought did not even occur to me to maybe go find one of them.
Me too.
But
I just
I
I
like
just made that connection.
I'm like, oh yeah, I've actually done several deals around here. I didn't even dawn. All I know, I like when we drive around, like right now, as we're rolling through the country. We started in Arizona. We headed up to Colorado, through we go Nebraska, Wisconsin, the UP in Michigan, and then made the curve and came down south, and then through Ohio to where we are now. Spent some time in Michigan, and anyway, I'm picking out things, I'm seeing things. It's different when you look at it from Google Earth than when you're standing on the ground staring at it. And it's not that you need to do that, but it really does give you a good perspective on what we do every day. And, I'm standing here, there's times that we're driving around, I'm like, see that piece of dirt over there? I might have kicked that to the curb, and now I see it from this angle, and no, I'm gonna look at this a little bit differently, kind of thing. And
We could be
one of
super
the
clear on it.
mhm.
To be super, super clear on it. We're not advocating looking at your property because it's crazy
Nope.
inefficient time from a time standpoint.
Correct.
But there's an element of feeling something. I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's an element of actually feeling something. If it feels good or it doesn't. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are fortunate enough to buy property and sell it where you live, that's a really important part.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure
Well,
that
one of the
the further that we get into this trip, I mean, or this lifestyle, I guess it's ending up being less of a trip and more of a lifestyle. Um, the more I think that that'll be part of it.
mm-hmm, exactly. So what was I gonna say? The thing that I've noticed, one of the things that I often don't get excited about. Well, I often do get excited about. That I'm not sure I'm going to get so excited about right now. You guys are going to crack up at me. This is one of the 6A's, and that's access. I got to tell you guys here, for those of you in Land Academy or thinking about doing what we do, we harp on legal and physical access. And that is important, yes. What's not important is being on a highway or
Yeah,
on a well traveled road. Sure, it's good for road signage. You know, there's some places that we've been and things that I'm like, wow, look how far out we are. And now it makes it even cooler. I'm going to really, you know, just even if you don't need to go look at any of your properties, but boy, get out of your office sometimes and drive around. Look at different land, look at different landscapes, look at some things, look at, when you stand, we all look at utility easements, right? But once you get into our world, and you're standing on a piece of dirt that has a utility easement over it, see what it sounds like, see what it looks like. It's going to just help you make really good decisions on what you buy and what you sell. So, hey, Ebru has a question in here. Do you ever send mailers to an area that has a decrease in population? If so, up to what percentage would be okay? Thank you. That's for you, Jack.
yeah. So I don't look at that at all. If it passes the red, green, yellow test, I appreciate that you're thinking out of the box here and wondering if this is relevant. Um, the red, green, yellow test is designed to smoke all of these other issues out. Here's an example. You know, days on market is one of the three or four statistics we track in the red, green, yellow test. And if a property, I'll just use Detroit as an example. Joe and I were just in Detroit. We went to the Lions game and stayed downtown, and the city is really experiencing a redevelopment, and people are moving back down there. So for the longest time, properties were the population was declining, and it was a terrible place to send mail. And it's not because the property was declining; it was just because it's just because that it wouldn't pass the regular well test. The days on, no matter what the prices for the real estate were, nobody wanted it. There was just no demand. So I don't think it's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is just run the red, green, yellow test long before you send any mail or spend any real money, and that should really smoke it out.
Yeah, you're right. The days on market will directly tie to that. Because if everybody's moving out, we're going to see higher days on market. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
And you
Exactly.
don't want to send
Okay.
them. You don't want to send mail at ultra high days on market.
Right. Don't make it hard for yourself. So, people have asked us, okay, you guys are Land Academy, you're also House Academy. Why are you not buying a lot of houses right now? I'm like, do you want to compete with that? Like what was going on a year ago? We didn't want to compete with that.
We
That's not the
will.
business we're in. We will. Yeah, please explain. If you don't mind, will you expand on that?
Sure. As this market continues to be less of a seller's market and more of a buyer's market, that, in my opinion, creates more sellers and does away with the competition. sellers can't get away with what they once could, even 6 months ago. Interest rates are going up. There's less people setting up. They're trying to get a single asset. So that's the playground I want to play in. With no real competition. And because Jill can really go to a working environment like that because she's got a lot of leeway with pricing and terms and all that stuff. They don't have 5 or 6 people right behind her.
Exactly.
That, and I'll tell you what, on a personal note, and it will become not personal soon here. We are on Starlink right now. We are in what I call a highfalutin RV park with very, very expensive RVs here. It costs $90 a night to stay, which is a lot for this environment. And the Wi-Fi sucks. And we're out in peninsula in a lake, so there's no real cell connection. And so I busted up with Starlink. And, we have an amazing connection. My staff is saying I don't sound the best that I could, but I'm sure it's not Starlink. I'm sure it's some type of user error. So, but that's going through.
It's sure it's user error.
Yeah, user meaning
Starlink cannot solve for operator error. That would be.
So, we busted out the Starlink, and it's nobody else is enjoying the type of connection that whatever how many pads there are here, 200 plus. Nobody's got a connection to do so. That's going to change where people live. I can't say this enough. It's going to change where we all send mail for houses and for land. We were in the Upper Peninsula that had no real cell connection at all. We were bagging it with Starlink. So, UP might not be the best example, but really rural areas in, let's say, Kentucky, who don't get the self-service, it's going to be a very viable place to send mail.
Totally. Ebru was also asking about, and I think I know the answer. I'm going to let you answer this. Is 70 days okay for our days on market?
Hell no. The only reason 70 days would ever be okay for an average days on market is because all the adjacent zip codes that you are testing it against are higher. If 70 days on market in your data sample is the best one, and you can live with wanting, it's okay to sell property that you buy, within, let's say, 3 months. I can't live with that personally. And I think it's okay, but that's way too high. We're trying to keep it at 30. But relativity is what really matters. If you believe in the market and you know it's going to work, and for whatever reason, you can live with 70 days, then that's okay. And everything else is 120 days. I would consider it.
I agree.
Probably trying to find another place to send me out.
Well, and maybe if the trend was, it was 120 days, and then it went to 100, and then went to 90, and now we're at 70, and you're following that area too, then I can wrap my head around that. Because 70 today is going to be 50 tomorrow, and you're catching it as things are changing, like Nashville or whatever it is. Pick an area that we've all watched and had things happen. Like COVID stuff happen. So super cool. All right, hey Joe, this is like our podcast, but you guys can raise your hand and I'll invite you on the stage. Like Joe's typing notes in here. I'm like, Joe, I'll get you up here. So Joe wrote, "Hello everybody. I'm new to this group and was wondering if anyone knew how to properly assess the value of a property. Welcome to Land Academy." Yep. I have a mobile home on a land deal, and I use comps from Zillow for the same zip code in which my deal is located. But the mobile home I have on land is nowhere in living condition to the other comps. I also tried to call the county to get info on how they assess the property value, but no luck in getting in contact with the county appraiser. You want to do this one, Jack?
No, I want you to.
Oh, okay. You know what? I love these. Do you know how I would assess?
I know you do.
Yeah.
This is your show.
Oh, thanks. You know what, Joe? Assess this as that's just a bonus. I would go into this deal exactly like it's a piece of land. The fact that it has a falling down mobile home on it is gravy. So that's how I want you to assess it and price it. And then, so whatever you're buying it for, you know what I'm saying? Say you're like, okay, well, the dirt's worth like, $30,000 kind of thing, just by its, let's just say it's worth $70,000, but you could pick it up for $25,000, $30,000. that's what I want you to do, kind of thing. So that's how you assess it. And then it's like, and what's interesting is these sellers, if they know that no one can probably live in it, like it's missing a wall. I bought this. I've had things missing walls, the ceiling falling in, and nobody had any keys, kind of thing. I had to get keys made, to it beautiful, but somebody passed on, and it's furnished. It's like ready to someone could move in kind of thing. I've had all different extremes, but you want to price it like it's the land, especially in this situation, because I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 times the seller thinks this is a problem. And the seller is going to be loving that you don't see this as a negative to the pricing. Some sellers think that, oh, I got to move this off here or no one's going to want it and buy it. But that's not you. This is a nice perk. Why? Because A, someone could fix this thing up. That has happened. And B, think about all the utilities and things that are already worked out. There's already a well, there's already septic, there's already electricity. This stuff is already established for the mobile home. So that's how you want to look at this thing. And this is all stuff that I'm glad you're here that we talk about in Land Academy. A lot of our deals are not just land. They have things on them, and when you find and I love mobiles. Those are one of our newest, greatest. Oh, here comes Joe. Yay! We're gonna have a conversation with Joe now. Yay, Joe, how are you? Hopefully you can unmute and ask away.
You remember?
Yep, we got you. Hi.
How's it going? Thank you for letting me understand.
You're welcome. It's not the best connection, so we'll see what we can do. Did that answer your question?
Somewhat, I was more into like asking about, and I don't know if this is, I guess you're referring to your test. I'm new to this, so I don't know what but basically my question is like, did I, how do I assess the for sales? Like, I compared it to comps that I see. Well, for the same zip code, property size, but I'm not sure that that's the most effective way to come up with
Okay.
that.
All right, I'm gonna mute you, and I'm gonna have you type with me because that works out better. I'm sorry, the audio's not that great, but I think you're asking about comps. So I want you to go digging. Go look in Zillow or Realtor, wherever it is. Get the same property size. Is it on 2 acres? Is it on 10 acres? Dig in. Look at for sale. Look for sold. Look in the last year. Look in the last 6 months. This is all the things that we do, and when I'm looking at properties, and you should be able to hopefully, ascertain a like property that's going to give you a comp. So if you want to type more, you sure can. But they are wherever it is. It's I so appreciate you coming up here, but the audio is not that good, so it's not going to work this time. So, but yes, you can type in more. Hey, Nick Skinner. Nick says, "Oh, this is so funny." We just did a show on this today. Nick's question here. Nick is asking, how do you guys go about perk tests for properties 2 acres and larger? And I'm going to tell you exactly what I told my team today. This is hilarious. Do you test before you market, or do you have your buyers do this? Some agents I talk to recommend do this before marketing for quicker sales. I am so not a fan of perk tests or trying to think what's the other thing. A survey. I am a fan because I didn't need it to buy it, and now I'm turning around and selling it. And depending on the size of the property, and these are bigger. You're saying 2 acres or bigger, which I love that you're asking this. I'm feeling pretty good on 2 acres. I can find one spot that's going to drain correctly to pass a perk test. So we have a property right now that is under contract. I have these buyers. It's in a state that starts with a W, and it's a deal funding deal. And my team came to me because that we're working directly with the manager and the agent. And it's like I said, it's 15 acres. I said, here's the deal. They're digging in about the perk test. I said, and it's like $600. The agent's like, look, they're just digging in. We're going back and forth on our counter offers. I'll say, I'll give them this one, but I'm not doing the survey because it is what it is. It's 15 acres. So I said, I'll do the $600 thing depending on how quickly we can get it done. And I told my team to tell the agent, you need to make sure that the person who does the perk test will walk until he finds a spot that will perk, right? That's my condition. Because if you can't walk 15 acres and find one spot that'll perk, you're not doing your job. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. So that's where I'm at with this, Nick. So I would find someone but the bigger question is because some people do this or think that you have to do this. Some people think that you always have to buy a property and get a survey and a perk, and you don't. Because think about, and here's the other thing too, this property that I'm talking about, it's for hunting or
Jeez.
building. So if I'm going to hunt on it and camp on it, I don't need a perk.
Jill and I have Jill and I have issues with perk tests and
Mm-hmm.
their validity and whether or not they're needed, and why they're so prevalent. And so, if it's hunting land, nothing needs a perk.
Mm-hmm.
A perk test is to see if the ground is able to process waste, human waste,
Mm-hmm.
through a septic field or tank system. That's what a perk test does. And so,
Right.
15 acres, you're going to find a place in general where they can process it.
Mm-hmm. And the state is not Florida. The
And
state
it's
is
one of these
not
things.
Louisiana, where it's really heavy, where the water in the ground is hard to deal with. So, yeah.
It's one of these things that's honestly from the early 20th century. We have ways to process waste from a technology standpoint there that can be
Mm-hmm.
efficient. It can be expensive, but there's ways. So it's way too prevalent. Now it's just caught up.
Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds, like we talked about this this week on the advanced call. There's so many like if you fall in love with a piece of land and it, oh my gosh, doesn't perk and you want to build a house there, don't give up. There's so many alternative solutions. That if you really dug in, things you can do. Like, come on, we've all driven along a road and go, I can't believe they built a house there. Like, it defies gravity. It almost feels like, well, that family dug in, apparently, and that was the view they wanted, and they were going to spend to get it. So they solved it. And and like I said, we've all done that. Anybody in Land Academy, you've driven around, we've probably done this. You said, I'm not sure I would have bought that. And look at the house that they built, that's amazing. So there's things like that. So one of our shows next week is we have a couple next week that tie into this about don't get what are the title? I'm trying to think of the titles now. Help me, Jack. Like taking due diligence with a grain of salt, and
That's next week.
yeah, and what was the other one that would ties into this? Um, there was one more about not complicating deals.
Yeah.
Sometimes people, and this ties into a little bit here, like I swear it's like somebody hears from somebody that you should ask for a perk. I almost think I think buyers sometimes bring it up because they want to sound like they know something, like they're knowledgeable. I'm like, do you even know what you're asking for? They probably don't. You know what I mean? And especially if you're on 15 acres, I'm like, are you really asking me this when it's 0.15 acres? Then yeah, that could be an issue, and you want to put a house there. Now we got to. Mm-hmm.
All the questions that we get, probably without exception, I went through myself. I made
Yeah.
those mistakes. And one of the things was complicating transactions and trying to
Yeah.
find problems where there wasn't. Until I did a few of them, I'm like, wow, this is really that easy. Buy this thing for $8,000 and sell it for 22. It's that easy. I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do all this other stuff or worry about it or anything, especially if I have a real estate agent that is capable of selling real estate
Yeah.
and a good title company. So yeah, you don't have to make this real hard. Perk test
Mm-mm.
falls into a category of probably making stuff too hard.
Right. So, and I'd like to add, if you're doing smaller transactions and you're buying them on your own, right, and closing them yourself, and you're selling them that way too, here's the conversation that I say when that comes up is like, okay, look, if you like, I can clearly remember this. I had this property, I want to say Mojave County, not kidding, off a highway selling to a truck driver. And it was a nice big piece of property. And he was asking about a survey. I'm like, so here's the deal. I can go get a survey. I can spend the time and the money and da 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 and get it all done for you. But it's not going to be in the end. The price of the property now is not going to be the same price as what you're staring at if you buy it from me at this price and then you go get the survey by yourself and do it later on when you want to. And he's like, noted. Thank you. Don't need it. I said, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like if I go do it, I'm going to mark it up like everybody else would. And you could do it at your leisure, you know, if you need it. And it would be, you would do a survey or something like that because you're going to build something there. And do you even, are you going to wait and see what happens kind of thing?
I think if the survey is important when you have a very odd shaped property, not a
Mm-hmm.
square or not like an infill lot. That was been surveyed a long time ago when that subdivision was done. You don't need
Right.
one specifically in that situation, but if the property is really oddly shaped and there's a discrepancy, like the assessor's records say that it's 5.2 acres, but everything else says it's 4.2. So you need some type of confirmation that, with an actual physical survey to say, okay, yep, the property is actually 5.2 acres, and here's a real legal description. Then I understand it. That's what surveys are for.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the prevalence of these things, people just say stuff. Oh, I'd like a
That's,
survey and a bird test.
yep. Like, okay, why? So, yep. Because I was told I should ask for that. Okay. All right, we have
Or
some more questions here.
because
Go
my
ahead.
parents did it in 1948. That's probably where it's coming from.
True. That's what they thought. So I understand. All right. Sid wrote, hi, Sid Dean. When performing a red, yellow, green test, are you using Redfin to pull housing data? You're using Redfin to pull the housing data for zip codes. Yep. So how does this translate to what's happening with land? Or are you just looking at it at activity? Sid, are you a member and are you going to be on the Thursday call today? Because this is going to come up. If you want to type it in the chat, feel free. But Jack, you want to answer in the meantime here?
So when performing a red, green, yellow test, how do you translate what's happening with land?
He's a member.
We're just looking at activity.
Okay.
We're just testing activity. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
We look at in Land Academy, we look at housing data a lot, and if you're brand new, I would ask this question too: why the hell do you guys look at housing data when all you do is buy and sell land? Well, the answer is because we don't have only land data. A lot less pieces of land get sold than houses. So, and houses, people make money on it. Real estate agents make money on it, and everything else. So, the prevalence of data for housing is way more. It's much higher than it is for land. So we're forced to kind of use it to say, hey, this whole zip code, these houses are selling really well. It's logical there. The land is selling. We've proven it
Mm-hmm.
here. So that's the.
That's a good question. And then we can cover this. Are we going to? So today our Thursday call, Sid is a member, Jack. So when we do our, are you going to have time to look at that today on our Thursday call?
What the normal
The normal stats and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So Sid today on the Thursday call, which happens in an hour and 15 minutes, Jack will make sure to kind of dig a little deeper on this for you. So, all right, he said I'll be there. Okay, good. Awesome. So if anybody's like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Okay. Every Thursday, Jack and I personally still, since we started Land Academy, have our own weekly member call, and it's us on screen. We have everything. We screen share. You can see everything we're talking about. So we're going to show data on the screen and talk about it, and so we can show Sid, okay, here's what I'm looking at, and here's why I'm I've reached this conclusion kind of thing. And we do things like, would you do this deal? We look at deals together, answer all kinds of questions on screen, and do deep dives into things that are just unique, or just need a little more clarification other than what's in the whole Land Academy education. So if you're not a Land Academy member and you're listening right now and going, "Oh, well, I want to see this stupid thing you guys are talking about," you can. We will love to have you, give you a one-time invite to be kind of a fly on the wall and join our member call that's happening in an hour and 12 minutes from now, whatever it is. All you gotta do is send a note to my team. Just email support@landacademy.com and just say, "I want to be on this call that's happening in an hour," and they will get back to you and give you a link to the Zoom call, so you could see where we're sitting here by the lake, and with all the lovely critters flying around over our heads here in sweet Tennessee. And so I happen to be inside the rig and Jack is outside the rig right now. It's comical. I'm safe and protected in here. So anyway, it's fun. But you could see our background and see this, and then you could really see us looking at some deals and stuff too. We'd love to have you
You learn a lot
join
about
us.
a person if you live 180 square feet with them for a couple months.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Joe's not,
totally.
Joe's not comfortable with flying bugs.
And what's that?
You're not comfortable with bugs flying around.
I'm better. I'm all suited up now. I've got all kinds of good stuff here. All right, so because you know why? Because I am. They eat me. They don't eat you. That's the only thing. All right, Isaac wrote, "Hello, Isaac Haynes. Really appreciate all your guys' content. Really awesome. Thank you very much. Um, quick question: what period of time do you use to calculate average days on market? 1 year or 6 months?"
So here's what I do. And the reason that this is really relevant is because a lot of stuff has changed. If you look at
Mm-hmm.
12 months, a lot of the period that you're analyzing was in the heyday. It was doing great. If you look at 6 months, that's pretty much now the time where interest rates have gone up and things have slowed down. So I would look at both. The irony or dichotomy here is that a 12-month period provides more data, and when you're analyzing data, more data is always better. In a 6-month period, you analyze less. So right now, I think it's really wise to look at both. And if there's no real serious material difference, then you can feel good about it going into the future just to look at 12 months. If I had to choose
Mm-hmm.
one, like gun to my head, I would look at 12, not 6.
I love that. And Nick, I think we covered that. Yeah. So what about testing for wetlands on a smaller half-acre property? Yeah. If I found some wetlands property, and let's just say Florida, and I'm going to buy it, and it's less than a half acre, you better believe I'm not going to buy it unless I know how it, because I'm going to buy it. There's a use for that, right? And a half acre, less than half acre is usually to build something, right? In an area. So I need to make sure that it's going to work even before I buy it. So I'll
There's
work it out then.
a lot of places on the internet that this is a very hot topic within Land Academy right now. There are
Mm-hmm.
lots of places, and I personally haven't done a lot of as much research that I should to find a super credible source about wetland property specifically in that area, the Florida area. So, but if you dig around, there's amazing resources that are, I think, free. Where you can find
Right.
analyze property on a property by property basis. Is it the end all be all? Absolutely not. But it gives you a gauge about it's probably okay. There's no replacement for. This is why one of the A's, in the 6 A's test is adjacency.
Yep.
If you're looking at a piece of property and all around it there's houses and this property's in the middle of it, their chances are you're going to be okay to use it as a potential site to build on.
Ding ding. I love it. Hey Scott, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the mountains.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks very much. How close are you to us?
I am near Big Canoe in Georgia, so I'm a little
Oh,
Okay,
south
sure.
from you, probably about an hour or two, maybe
super
3.
cool.
Beautiful.
Depends on where you're at.
Got it. We love it. This is
Yes, it's
it's
nice. Just watch out for the bears.
gorgeous.
Don't leave any food outside.
Okay.
Noted. Thank
Yeah.
you. So Jack, don't leave me outside.
Yeah, I have to turn all the lights on around the house and check the cameras before I take the dog out late at night. So
Oh,
just to make sure they don't run into a mama bear. Um,
got it. Thank you very much. I have noticed, yeah, as there's a lot. I don't know if just as we came south, I just see a lot more roadkill. It breaks my heart. Some of these beautiful animals, but I'm like, okay, there's clearly a lot of stuff around here.
yeah,
So, yep.
there's a lot of wildlife in the mountains for sure. I probably have bears on my property around the house about every 2 or 3 days, and at least 12 deer a day, sometimes wild turkeys, and then miscellaneous other smaller animals.
Wow,
So,
that is so cool. So, I hear you're coming to spend some time with us next Wednesday?
is it next Wednesday? I guess it
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
this
it is
coming
next. Okay.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, yes, I am.
Cool. Awesome.
So,
So
I'll be in the
great.
super secret class.
Yeah.
I love it. We have a new thing. I don't know if you saw. We added a presentation from was he a IRA professional, Jack? The guy
Oh,
that's
okay.
going to speak week 2. I can't remember what it is, but he's going to talk to us about some other ways to move our money, things to do with our money. You know how that is. This is half of our discussions in the advanced group is what can we do with all this money?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm getting ready to move a 401k to equity trust for a self-directed IRA. So
That's what this
that's
guy
right up
is.
my alley. Yeah, that's I mean, with the amount of return you can make on property, whether
Mhm.
you're flipping for cash or you're doing payments, compared to the stock market and what the stock market may look like for the next decade or less. Um, and even when it is going up quickly, I don't think it even compares.
I agree. I
So
absolutely
yeah,
agree.
I look at it as this is a fantastic place to put some of the annual earnings that will come from land is straight into tax free earnings in your IRA account or 401k if you can get a self directed 401k, which is better. I know from the different experts that I've listened to, the 401k is much more forgiving compared to an IRA for
Yeah.
self-directed vehicles. But I guess the good thing would be for everybody is for me to get my question, which is that's about when you get return calls from your mail.
Mhm.
When you initially talk to people, some people are confused. They don't know why you've sent the mail. And the first place their head goes is, I would love to sell my land for what it would go for on Zillow or, basically full retail price with no realtor involved. How do you broach that subject and explain it in a way without saying, yeah, I like to buy your land really, really cheap?
Well, that's
Well,
how I answer
so
it.
many.
I'd say
That's true.
I'm going to sell your property for what it's worth on Zillow. So it needs to be a lot cheaper, let's say.
Is this why Jill answers the phone?
Yes. Now you're getting it, Scott. Exactly. Well, it's so funny is so many people don't know, right? Or what they do know is on a postcard that says assessed value. They all think that's the real thing. So that's usually the question I get is like, well, it shows assessed at such and such. I'm like, what does your house show too? Like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of not really. I kind of explain what that is, and they go, yeah, I get it. And then I pretty much spell out kind of, yeah, that's great. Do you want to go? I mean, maybe, but my guy down the street sold a similar 10-acre property for whatever. And sometimes I might even look it up. And I'll even, as we're talking, if I can, I'll say, do you know it has a mobile on it? Do you know it has a well? Do you know it has that? Like they don't even know. So sometimes they have to be educated a little bit on it. So that's where I go first. And then once we have ascertained, if it's really like for like, then it's just down to, hey, this is what I do. And
Yeah.
yeah, could you get a realtor and maybe wait 6 months or a year? Because, hey, we're coming in the winter.
Or 18
And
months.
right, and you're going to pay them commission, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, and they're going to ask you for, they're going to take pictures, all this stuff. Or you got me right now, my checkbook is open, I'm going to write you $25,000 and you can be done. And they go, huh, okay, let me think about that for a second. And that's it. And that's the only question. And then and I'll let them sleep on it if they want to. I'm like, if they need a minute, let me talk to my wife, because yeah, you make a good point. I'm like, yeah, I've already done all my homework. By the way, I'm a buyer that's ready to go. You got an agent you got to get, and then they got to find some buyers, and we all know how much fun that is. And negotiating, how much fun is that? I just told you what I'd pay, and you asked me to bump it up to 30. You know what? I can do 30, but that's my top. And they're gonna like, all right, Jill, let me call you back. So, okay, and then usually it goes great.
Yeah, see, I used to be a sales trainer, but it was more for in person, and it wasn't,
Hmm.
and it was in insurance a long time ago. And um, one of the things that always used to scare people, and even myself, was the initial contact. And
Hmm.
so you find yourself, I went to train somebody one time, and I found that he was driving me from one end of Austin, Texas to the other between each door he knocked on of a business. And so he was literally buying himself time to avoid his fear by wasting a ton of gas when he could have went into one business park, knocked on 5 doors all at once. Well, of course, the rule comes down to, if you get good at the things that make you uncomfortable, then you will outperform most of the other people that are trying to do the same
Exactly.
thing. And so what I recognized was that in some of these calls where I've got to have conversations, and people, they don't want my price, whatever, I find
Hmm.
myself wanting to avoid it, knowing, but I understand that's just, lack of discomfort that goes away with time and experience. But at the same time, and I'm sure this is for a lot of people who, are starting, you've got to push through that, because that's what stops probably the majority of other people.
Hmm. Yep.
So, boy, I'll tell you,
It's
my solution
true.
for all of that is just to send a ton of mail. I'm not going to
Well,
spend.
but yeah,
There's a
but if you don't talk
workaround,
to them
and
after you
never
send
talk
it,
on the
then
phone.
right.
He's missing a lot of deals. You're right. You know what's so great about it? I love the fact too, Scott, that I am on the phone. They can't see my face. So you better believe there's times that I throw out crazy numbers. And if they could see my face, it's all scrunched up, and I'm like almost holding the phone away from my ear a little bit, waiting for their response, but they don't know that. They hear the delivery, because I stood up and I coached myself. You're going to confidently tell this person that instead of 25 or 30, now it's 10, kind of thing. And like I do that, and I have like a verbatim script, and if you have to, write it down, everyone. Here's the deal. For these two reasons, I screwed up. And I don't even think it's worth the original offer, but I do like it. And here's the best number. And then I give it to them. And if that works for you, I will open escrow so fast and get that money in your pocket. It's, as fast as I can. And if it doesn't, I completely understand. And then I'm silent and let them process it. And like I said, I think your in person's harder. I could do it in person, but I like on the phone.
I believe it or not, I had Joe's job for a lot of years, and so I do have
Hmm.
some experience with this. And the question you're asking is very real.
Hmm.
How I've answered it in the past is this: you know what? We're not in the business of paying retail for property. We're in the business of buying real estate, packaging it up, and reselling it to people that are going to actually probably do something with it. And we look
Hmm.
at this service as convenience. There's three places you can buy a gallon. I've said this on the show before. You can spend the lowest amount of money at Walmart. You can spend a little bit more money and drive a little bit less at the grocery store, or you can buy it at a convenience store where it's sometimes crazy expensive. But in all those cases, you don't walk up and slam the note down to the clerk and say, it's ridiculous how much money you're spending. It's all convenience. So you have to explain to the seller that we are their bird in the hand. They're going to get in 2 weeks. They're going to get a check. We're not going to go through inspections or all this stuff. We've already decided we're going to buy it. And so if you want that convenience, then retail price is not what you're going to get. If retail price is super important to you, I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
And more than half
That's
the time,
my favorite. Yeah, and sometimes they'll go that path. They're like, okay, and then they come 3 months later. All right, that didn't work. Do you still want it? Kind of thing. I had a guy that said, "Oh, but it was some crazy number too." And he's like, "Jill, I got a letter for someone else that says they'll pay me 25." I said, "Okay, well, you and I both know it's not worth that." He's like, "Yeah, you're right." I said, "So hold on a moment. You and I are talking. I'm standing here ready to write you a check for $5,000. You want to wait while this guy does his homework and realize it's not worth 25, and you guys talk about it, and you da 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 da, and maybe he even walks." And the guy called me back the next day and said, "I'll take your $5,000." I said, "You got it." So just those quick conversations. But this is good. I love this stuff, and I'd love to continue this, but I'm gonna have to cut us because we have a call in an hour. We have to get ready for, and hopefully you'll be there, Scott.
I will.
I know, cool. I know Sid's going to be there. I think Carl and Sam are going to be there. I see a lot of people on here that should be on the call. And again, if anybody wants to join us, what are you talking about? Send a note to support@landacademy.com, and you can join our regular Thursday, be a guest 1 week, and we're going to continue these conversations and look at some properties too. So tell Jack to go catch a fish. Oh, he's been doing that, Sid.
Yes.
You guys will see. You guys will all get to see the background here in a little bit. Scott can see where we are, not far from him. So super cool.
Lots of fishing.
Well, yep. Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad we got to spend an hour with you today, joining us here on Land Talk. I'm Jill DeWitt with my partner Stephen Jack Butala. We're Land Academy, and we're back here in 2 weeks. But don't forget, we have a podcast that drops every day. There's all kinds of things you can find on us if you just Google us and join us. So thank you, Scott. I will see you in an hour.
Thanks, everybody.
See y'all then.
You got it. Thanks, everyone.